As you start falling asleep, your brain doesn't just shut off. It shifts into a strange in-between state where reality blurs. This is when hypnagogic hallucinations occur. Nearly 4 out of 10 people experience these vivid sensory distortions right as they're drifting off. You might see flashes of light, hear your name being called, or even feel like you're floating, all while partially aware it's not real. What makes these hallucinations different from dreams is timing and awareness. Dreams happen later, during deeper sleep stages when you're fully unconscious. Hypnagogic hallucinations occur in that hazy transition period where you're still somewhat alert. They're often visual, geometric patterns, faces, or brief scenes, but can also involve sounds like doors slamming or phones ringing. Some people report physical sensations, like the bed shaking or a hand touching them. Scientists think these hallucinations happen because your brain's sensory systems don't switch off in sync. Your visual cortex might still be active while your logic centers start powering down, creating images that feel real but make no sense. It's not a sign of mental illness, it's just how some brains handle the shift from wakefulness to sleep. The key difference between these hallucinations and dreams is how you process them. During hypnagogia, part of you knows it's not real. You might see a spider crawling on the wall, but something in your mind says, that can't be right. In dreams, you fully accept impossible scenarios, flying, talking to dead relatives, without question. Why does this happen? One theory suggests it's a byproduct of memory consolidation. As your brain sorts through the day's events, fragments might surface as disjointed images or sounds. Another idea is that it's your thalamus, yet the brain's sensory relay station, misfiring as it disconnects from your senses. These hallucinations usually last just seconds, but for some people they're intense enough to cause panic. Imagine drifting off, only to jolt awake because you heard a gunshot or saw a stranger in your room. It's unsettling, but unless they're frequent or distressing, they're nothing to worry about. What's interesting is how cultural background shapes these experiences. In some societies, people interpret hypnagogic hallucinations as spiritual encounters, ghosts, ancestors, or supernatural beings. Others assume they're just random brain noise. For most, these hallucinations fade as quickly as they appear. You might remember them for a moment after waking, then forget by morning. But they reveal something important about consciousness. The line between wakefulness and sleep isn't a clean switch. It's a messy overlap where reality bends. While hypnagogic hallucinations are normal, they can occasionally point to other issues. Later stages of sleep hold even stranger twists, like moments where your brain can tell if you're awake or dreaming. You wake up, check your phone, and start your morning routine, only to jolt awake again, realizing none of it actually happened. This is a false awakening, a glitch where your brain creates a convincing simulation of reality while you're still asleep. These episodes can be unsettling because they blur the line between dreaming and wakefulness. You might go through multiple false awakenings in a row, each time believing you've finally woken up for real. False awakenings happen because your brain doesn't flip a switch between sleep and wakefulness. It transitions gradually. During this shift, parts of your brain responsible for logic and self-awareness lag behind, while areas that construct reality stay active. This creates a scenario where you feel conscious but lack the critical thinking to question impossibilities. You might dream about brushing your teeth, making coffee, or leaving the house, all while your body is still asleep in bed. Micro-awakenings play a role in these experiences. Throughout the night, your brain briefly wakes up for seconds at a time to check for danger. Most people don't remember these moments, but they keep your mind partially alert. During a false awakening, your brain might mistake these micro-awakenings for the real thing, constructing a dream around them. It's a byproduct of your brain's survival mechanisms, always scanning for threats even when you're unconscious. What makes false awakenings so convincing is how closely they mimic reality. You'll often dream about familiar places and routines. Your bedroom, the kitchen, your commute. The details feel right. The texture of your toothbrush, the sound of your alarm, even the light coming through the window. But small inconsistencies eventually give it away. The clock reads a garbled time, or your front door opens to a hallway that doesn't exist. That's usually when you realize something's wrong and wake up for real. Sleep paralysis can overlap with false awakenings, making them even more disorienting. If you wake up in a dream but can't move your body, it's likely because the paralysis of REM sleep hasn't worn off yet. This can trigger hallucinations, like sensing a shadowy figure in the room or feeling pressure on your chest. While frightening, these experiences are harmless, just your brain misinterpreting signals as you transition between sleep stages. False awakenings might serve a purpose. One theory suggests they act as rehearsal for waking life, letting your brain test scenarios before you're fully conscious. Another idea is that they help integrate memories by replaying fragments of your day in a safe, controlled environment. Whatever the reason, they show how fluid consciousness can be. Your brain doesn't clearly separate sleep and wakefulness. It weaves them together in a way that can trick even your own perception. Cultural interpretations of false awakenings vary. In some traditions, they're seen as spiritual experiences, visions, or messages from another realm. Others treat them as glitches in the mind's simulation of reality. What's clear is that they are a universal phenomenon, reported across different countries and age groups. Children especially experience them often, likely because their brains are still learning to distinguish dreams from reality. False awakenings usually end when your brain fully synchronizes its wake-up signals. You might wake up multiple times in a row, each time with growing confusion, until your body and mind finally align. Some people learn to recognize the signs, like distorted mirrors or malfunctioning electronics in the dream, and use them to trigger lucid dreaming. Others just endure the disorientation until it passes. These episodes reveal something important about memory. Since false awakenings feel so real, you might remember them as actual events until you realize the timeline doesn't add up. This ties into how sleep affects memory consolidation. Your brain sorts through experiences while you sleep, sometimes mixing dreams with reality. Morning grogginess or sleep inertia can make it even harder to separate what really happened from what your brain simulated. False awakenings aren't dangerous, but they can disrupt sleep if they cause frequent nighttime arousals. People under stress or with irregular sleep schedules report them more often, suggesting they're linked to how smoothly your brain switches between sleep stages. For most, they're just occasional oddities, moments where the mind's protective systems create a convincing but temporary illusion. The line between dream and reality is thinner than we think. False awakenings prove that your brain doesn't need you to be fully conscious to construct a believable world. It can build entire scenarios, complete with sensory details and logic, while you're still asleep. And sometimes these simulations are so accurate, they fool even you.